Have you ever dreamed of living in a country where you can pitch a tent in the woods without a ranger chasing you out, distill your own alcohol at home, and even legally keep a raccoon as a pet? Sounds like a fairy tale or maybe something out of a wilderness survival show, right? Well, welcome to Poland, a country in the heart of Europe that offers a surprising mix of freedom, tradition, and practicality. While many countries continue to tighten laws around personal behavior, Poland stands out as a place where certain unique liberties still exist. Today on Immigrant Paths, we're diving into the lesser-known freedoms in Poland, things you can do here that would get you fined, questioned, or even arrested in other parts of the world. Let's start with something close to nature: wild camping. Poland has a national initiative called Zanocuj w lesie, which translates to Camp in the Forest. It's a project created by the Polish State Forests Authority that allows people to camp legally in over 400 designated forest areas across the country. These forests are not just small patches of trees either. They're massive, quiet, and often untouched by commercial tourism. You can set up a tent, build a small fire in the appropriate zones, and enjoy a couple of nights under the stars without anyone chasing you off the land. Compare that to countries like the Netherlands or Switzerland, where wild camping is outright banned in most areas and strictly enforced. In those places, even a single night under the stars without permission can land you a hefty fine. Now, what about making your own booze? In Poland, distilling alcohol at home for personal use is technically legal, but there's a catch. You still need to register and obtain a permit. That said, the law is much more relaxed than in places like the US, where distillation without a federal license is completely illegal, even if you have no intention of selling it. In Poland, especially in rural areas, crafting your own vodka, fruit brandy, or mead is part of local heritage. It's not uncommon for families to pass down their moonshine recipes for generations. So, while you can't go completely rogue with a backyard still, the fact that you can do it at all legally puts Poland in a different category from many of its Western counterparts. Next up is something that might surprise new parents: name freedom. Unlike countries like Germany or Iceland, where the government maintains official lists of approved baby names, Poland takes a more flexible approach. Parents can choose almost any name they like, as long as it meets some basic grammatical and gender norms. For example, most female names must end in an A, and the name should be pronounceable in Polish. But within those simple rules, there's quite a bit of freedom. You won't be told that your child's name isn't legal enough, just because it's foreign or creative. Compare that to Iceland, where even common names like Harriet can be rejected for not fitting the national naming standards. Now let's talk about drinking in public, a topic with very different laws around the world. In most of Poland, public drinking is illegal, just like in the US or UK. But here's the twist: many cities in Poland have carved out exceptions. Warsaw, for example, allows public drinking along parts of the Vistula River, especially during warmer months. In cities like Kraków and Gdansk, you'll find riverside areas or designated zones where you can crack open a beer and enjoy the evening sun with friends. It's an example of how Polish cities balance public order with personal freedom, something that's hard to imagine in countries like Singapore, where public alcohol consumption is banned outright, or Australia, where even holding an open container can lead to a fine. Poland's political expression laws are also worth mentioning. While the country does ban symbols promoting totalitarian ideologies like communism or Nazism, it does not criminalize the display of anti-communist or anti-authoritarian messages. In fact, such criticism is often welcomed, especially given Poland's history with Soviet oppression. This is a stark contrast to countries like Russia or Belarus, where public criticism of past or present regimes can be considered a crime. In Poland, political activism, even when directed at powerful institutions, is seen as a democratic right rather than a national threat. One thing that surprises many foreigners living in or visiting Poland is the country's approach to replica weapons and airsoft guns. While most of Europe and definitely countries like Japan or Australia heavily restricts airsoft gear or requires permits, Poland treats these items with far more leniency. You can walk into a shop and buy an airsoft gun without dealing with intense bureaucracy, as long as it stays under 17 joules of power. And while you can't carry it around in public or wave it in traffic, storing and using airsoft gear for games, training, or even filmmaking is entirely legal and widely accepted. Just use common sense and don't treat it like a toy in public spaces. For those of you who love animals, or the idea of having a truly unique pet, Poland might just be your dream destination. With proper documentation and permits, you can keep a wide range of non-traditional animals as pets. That includes species like raccoons, foxes, and even some reptiles that would be completely banned in other countries. In the UK, for example, owning a raccoon is considered dangerous and illegal. In most US states, you'd need a specialized wildlife permit. But in Poland, if you're responsible and meet care requirements, exotic pets are within reach. Of course, this isn't a free-for-all. You can't just adopt a wild wolf and walk it down the street. But the regulations are far more open than in most developed countries. Then there's Poland's approach to adult content. Unlike many countries where access to certain genres of pornography is restricted or banned, Poland has relatively liberal laws. As long as it doesn't involve anything illegal, such as non-consensual content, violence, or minors, adult material is legal and widely available. This might not seem revolutionary if you're watching from a Western country, but keep in mind that in places like the UK, entire categories of adult content have been banned under so-called extreme laws. And in many Asian or Middle Eastern countries, all pornography is illegal, with possession carrying serious consequences. Finally, let's talk about civil protest. Poland has a strong culture of civic engagement. Peaceful protests, even those held near government buildings, are allowed with prior notification to the authorities. Unlike in authoritarian countries where organizing a rally could result in jail time or even disappearance, Polish law supports freedom of assembly. Protests happen regularly in Warsaw, especially around the parliament buildings or central squares, and they are part of the democratic pulse of the country. As long as organizers follow basic rules and file the proper notice, these events are protected by law. So what does all this mean? Poland offers more freedoms than most people realize. Whether you're drawn by the idea of forest camping, home distilling, or simply being able to express yourself politically without fear, Poland carves out space for personal liberties in areas where others don't. It's not a lawless place. In fact, it's quite structured, but that structure allows for flexibility, tradition, and individual freedom in surprising ways. If you're considering life in Poland, or you're just fascinated by how legal cultures differ around the world, this is the kind of insight that can help you look beyond the tourist brochures. Freedom doesn't always look the same, and sometimes it's hiding in the last place you'd expect. Thanks for watching Immigrant Paths, where we explore the surprising differences between countries, cultures, and the legal quirks that shape everyday life. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Poland's lesser-known freedoms, be sure to like the video, subscribe for more, and drop a comment about which fact surprised you the most. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.